Good morning, everybody. Uh, I'm out here at work, getting ready. We're about to get, I got my machine warming up right now. But I wanted to talk about, something that I had read was that the oldest in the family, the first child in the family, and primarily what I was reading was the firstborn son, that they were always considered spiritual leaders. And in the Bible, when everybody came out of Egypt, that was called, it wasn't only just the Hebrews, there were other people as well who came out and answered the call. And it says that they were called to be a nation of priests. They were all going to be a spiritual light, every single one of them. But it didn't go as planned, so later on the Levitical priesthood was put into place. But it always said that the firstborn son was to be given over to God. God was going to use the firstborn sons. And I've read in some ancient literatures, as far as ancient civilizations, other civilizations, that it was always the firstborn son who was placed in the temple to be priest. But I also would read that there were women as well who were placed in the temples, and you really don't see that nowadays. We kind of drifted off from that. I'm not saying that it's nowhere in the world is it like that, but if you look at certain civilizations, there were men and women priests. And even in biblical, in the biblical narrative, there's a lot of mentions of roles that, important roles that were given to women. And I don't really see as much today. Me personally, I do see a lot of people that I don't think I see too many people identifying as prophetess, like Miriam in the Bible, Moses' sister. I don't really see too much of that. But then again, even if somebody did identify as a prophetess or priestess, majority of today's mainstream religion wouldn't even acknowledge that. But I was just I was reading and I was like, I'm considered a firstborn son, and I don't remember my early childhood as me having spiritual dreams or being able to sense things like that. I don't know. I think that developed later on, my late teens, early 20s is when I really started having real frequent spiritual dreams, premonitions, and being able to sense things in the spiritual realm. But I would pray a lot, and I would ask God to allow me to receive those gifts, and one of the most significant gifts is that, uh, in short and summary, God gave me a gift that involves me speaking. And I've received many confirmations from different people, telling me the same thing. And I haven't really just been putting myself out there to be using, I kind of shy away from that role. I mean, there was a time where when people ask, like, is there anybody who wants to pray, to lead us in prayer, I would always be the first one. And then I don't know, like, I started shying away from that. I felt like people were looking at me a little different, like they didn't want me to be the one to pray. So I kind of strayed off, did my own thing for a while. But I kept on getting confirmation after confirmation, receiving the word that God's like, I chose you because I want you to attract a different crowd, the ones who aren't comfortable. I'm gonna send people to you, don't worry. And it doesn't matter if you start off with a small congregation. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. If you help one person, that's, God might have you just, whatever your calling is, it might be just to help one person. And if you fulfill that mission, hey, that was the whole purpose. But today I wanted to read Proverbs for the day. And I want to start doing that, like do little readings, because I know that every time I read my Bible that I do have, I have one from Art Scrolls, and every time I read out of this Bible out loud, like, I see a reaction in the spiritual realm. Like, whether people are telling me that they had dreams of, like, evil spirits telling me something, or referring to me, or to stay away from me, this and that. And I have a lot of like testimonies I can give referring to that. I won't do that in this video, but I'll read this. A gentle reply turns away wrath, but a galling word incites anger. The tongue of the wise will enhance wisdom, but the mouth of fools will spout foolishness. The eyes of Hashem are everywhere, seeing the evil and the good. A soothing tongue is a tree of life, but corruption of it is damage of the spirit. A foolish one despises his father's discipline, but he who harbors reproof will become clever. The house of the righteous one is greatly fortified, but with the arrival of a wicked one, it becomes sullied. The lips of the wise spread knowledge, but not so the heart of fools. The offering of the wicked is an abomination to Hashem, but his desire is the prayer of the upright. The way of a wicked person is an abomination to Hashem, but he loves a pursuer of righteousness. Stern discipline awaits for one who forsakes the path. One who hates reproof will die. The grave and perdition are exposed to Hashem. Surely the hearts of men. A scoffer does not like his being reproved. He will not go to the wise. A glad heart cheers the face, but a despondent heart causes a broken spirit. An understanding heart will seek wisdom, and the mouth of fools will befriend folly. All the days of a poor man are bad, but a good-hearted person feasts perpetually. Better a little gained through fear of Hashem than a great treasure accompanied by turmoil. Better a meal of greens where there is love than a fattened ox where there is hatred. The wrathful man incites strife, but the slow to anger calms a quarrel. The way of the sluggard is fenced with thorns, but the path of the upright is paved. A wise son gladdens his father, and the foolish man shames his mother. Foolishness is joy to one who lacks an understanding heart, but a man of understanding will rejoice when he walks uprightly. Thoughts are frustrated when there is no counsel, but through an abundance of counsel they will be established. A man has joy through the reply of his mouth, and how good is a word in its time. A path of the life waits above for the intellect one, so that his soul will turn away from the grave below. Hashem will uproot the house of the arrogant, but he upholds the boundary of a widow. The abomination of Hashem is thoughts of evil. Words of pleasantness should be pure. One who gains through greed sullies his home, but one who hates gifts will live. The heart of a righteous person will consider what to answer, but the mouth of the wicked will sprout evil. Hashem is far from the wicked, but he hears the prayer of the righteous. Enlightened eyes will gladden the heart. Good news will fatten a bone. The ear that hears life-giving reproof will abide in the midst of the wise. He who negates discipline despises his soul, but one who listens to reproof acquires an understanding heart. Fear of Hashem is the discipline of wisdom, and humility precedes honor. And that'll be it for today.